Hello! I recently found my extremely awesome Métis that I made. You know how when you're cleaning shit out around your house or wherever, and you come across a knitted piece that you'd forgotten about or packed away for the summer or just completely fucking lost, and then you find it back again and you're like, oh! So that's what happened with my giant mittens. These I knit a few years ago, I think. And it's actually double strands of Malabrigo Mecca held together. And Malabrigo Mecca is kind of a heavy worsted, I don't know that I'd call it chunky. I don't know, it just depends. Everybody's different how they're labeling their yarns these days. But when you hold them together, you get almost kind of like a Rasta, which is bulky. And they, like, nothing is getting through these. Like, Houdini could not get through they're just so warm. So I found them, and now they're kind of hanging out on my table, even though it's 80 degrees and, 98% humidity. So whatever, when I pushed play on the video, they were just sitting here and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna show off my middies. So anywho, what you knitting on? What you drinking? What you doing? There's a fucking fly in here, it's driving me nuts. I'm drinking coffee from my favorite coffee company, Bones Coffee Company. And here's one of their groovy mugs. Can you see that? So the flavor I think that I'm actually drinking is not red velvet, but who gives a fuck? Back in the day when I was younger, if I were doing this and got where people would actually watch this shit and had sponsors, I would want my sponsors to be, like Corona and I don't know, all the cool stupid shit you do when you're younger. Corona would definitely be on my list though. And oh my god, the fly. But now that I'm old, I'm tired and sore, if I ever had sponsors, I'd want them to be like Folgers, Advil, Bengay, shit like that. Because I'm old. So what is happening with this is that I was talking to a couple different friends of mine, and a lot of people have said, you need to do a YouTube channel. And so I tried, I did like my company channel and I did like one video and I'm like, nah, I just always felt like I should be talking about my own yarn. So then people are like, you should do a podcast because you're funny. And so I tried that and it's just like, meh. And this is probably gonna flop too, but I don't really give a fuck. But I was talking to one of my friends, Linda, and we were talking about, she's always watching these YouTubers and, they're the knitting YouTubers, and I don't know anything about them or who they are. Like most of these people that people tell me about, I have never even heard of them because mostly I don't have time to just sit down and watch shit like that. Not that it's shit, but you know what I mean? Like even my own shit I call shit, but just because, I don't know, it's just never been my type of thing, but I thought it might be fun. And I told my friend, I'm like, I'm gonna just start a YouTube channel then, and I'm gonna call it For Fuck's Sakes Knitting, or it's Knitting for Fuck's Sakes or something like that. Abbreviated, of course, so that it's not like in your face with the F-bombs. And she's like, yeah, that's a great idea. So then I was talking to, I might have a itchy nose. I was talking to my friend Sean, and we were talking about how if we could, because we FaceTime all the time, and we're talking about how if we could record our FaceTimes and put them up on this YouTube channel, that it would be, I don't know, maybe business suicide, because he's just started dyeing yarn and he wants to get into doing that, and because our conversations are just so god awful. You'd never even know we were friends by listening to us talk to each other, but we're actually very good friends. And then I was telling him about my channel and how I could have him on as a guest sometime. And I'm like, I'm gonna have, you know, my name in this channel is gonna be Alice Arbor. And he's like, why? And I'm like, well, because I'm from Iowa and Michigan is a rival of Iowa in sports sometimes. And I remember a long time ago, like several years ago, I dyed a color and I called it Ann Arbor's a whore for all of the Iowa people here. And so if I had Alice as Alice Arbor, I could dye my own color making fun of myself and call it, you know, Alice Arbor's a whore. And also because I like that song, Alice, Alice, who the fuck is Alice? If you guys have ever heard that, just Google it or YouTube it or something, it'll pop up. So my alter ego is Alice Arbor. She's a whore. And I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but every time, or if it'll even be helpful, or if anyone will even watch this shit. However, today I was going to say, or I was going to show you what I'm knitting on because I really think it's in your face awesome. So this is really cool. Oh my god, my hair is all wet. I don't have time to be pretty. Fuck it. I'm shedding all over my own knitting project. But, okay, so if you can see this, the black here, I don't know why in the fuck anyone would ever want to knit with black. That's what everyone ever says, always says to me. But when you pair something dark with something really poppy and in your face, I think it's awesome. This is actually upside down. So this is the start of a sweater, right? So the colors are, this black is DK Weight, and it's a Whimsical Wood Yarn Company, and it's called Black Cat. And I have it in a little skein coat because, yay, fall, Halloween. I love Halloween, it's my favorite. And then the bright one is this color, and it was actually dyed by my daughter, and it's called Nuclear Peeps. That fly is gonna drive me nuts. So I'm holding this one double because the pattern calls for DK Weight yarn. The pattern is by Joji Locatelli, who every time she puts out something, I have to buy it, even though I probably will never make it, but I'm actually making this one. It's called Radiate. You can find it on Ravelry, and I don't know where else. But so far, so good. And I picked, here's a tip, if you didn't know, I picked a light, like I'm not using a dark birch wood needle. Oh my god, that fly is gonna be, I'm gonna just burn the whole house down just to get rid of it. Anyway, I'm using Addy Turbo or something that I bought at a Tangle of Yarn in Des Moines, Iowa. You can get those anywhere. Because I could see, well, I started them out on Chaigu, but we were away because I don't live near Des Moines. Oh my god. Just, can you hold a minute while I get like a blowtorch and or some type of mustard gas to kill this fucking fly? It's gonna be the death of me. Anywho. So anyway, if you are knitting with dark yarn, just don't use a dark needle. Jesus, it took me like forever to just get that out. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm knitting on. I don't fucking know. I just finished, but haven't blocked or woven the ends in. Actually, I finished it like 2 weeks ago, and here it still sits. You guys have that problem? This is Vertices, I think. I don't even know how to say it. Unite, and it's a Stephen West, right? And I always love to do Stephen West things in the fall because you can put all these crazy awesome color combos together like Halloween, because Halloween's my favorite, and in his patterns they just look like they were just meant to be together. This is the small version of this pattern, and I use 3 colors. Okay, so sometimes he gets a little color crazy, which is cool. God love him. Let's see, the pattern originally calls for like 800 different colors. Let's just look. Just look, shall we? Blah, 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 fingering weight yarn, yada, yada, yada. Color A, color B, color C, color D, and color E. And I'm like, oh, fuck that. Because I didn't want to do that. So what I did was I picked 3 of my Halloween colors. So the orangey bright one is called Smashing Pumpkins. And then this one here, the dark with the bright pinks, and you can't really see it, but it's got like pinks and a little touch of green and some purples and whatever one. That one's called I Must Be a Witch. And then this little baby here with all the little pops of color is called Magic Broom Dust. So I decided, okay, I need these 3 colors. So it'll tell you in the pattern to, you know, like section 1 is color A and color B together, and then section 2 is color C and color D, and then, you know, section B is, no, wait, where am I? I lost my way already. Where the hell is section 3? Oh, section 3 is color E. Okay, I don't have a color E. For fuck's sakes, I have A, B, and fucking C. So you start with this like little stripey guy here. So I made that my A and my B section 1. So I alternated A and B. Whoop-de-doo. All it is striping to you guys. It's not brioche. People ask me if it's brioche. It's just striping fucking yarn. And then when I got to section 2, it's supposed to be C and D, but I was like, So I did C and B together. So I made sure that by the time I was done with it, I had each of the 3 yarns had their own section where I just knit with them. So here's Magic Broom Dust, here's I Must Be a Witch, and here's Smashing Pumpkins, just them. And then I paired them all together. So here's Smashing Pumpkins and Magic Broom Dust, here's Magic Broom Dust and I Must Be a Witch, here's Smashing Pumpkins and I Must Be a Witch, and that's about it. So anyway, that's how I did that shit. If you want to make your own, this is the small version, has not been blocked, so like it's gonna get bigger. There is an option for a larger version. I had like a shit ton of yarn left over of most of the colors, so like you could probably knit the large version in just with 3 colors too. But it was like a super fun pattern. I encourage you all to give it a go, even if you are afraid of Stephen West shit. I know sometimes people say to me, he's just so wild. Well, embrace that shit, girls, gents, guys, because fuck yeah. And see, and his version is not wild at all. It's kind of muted and laid back, and mine's actually in your fucking face, happy Halloween and shit. Okay, so there's that I finished. Yeah, I got nothing. Got nothing for that. So let's have a sip of coffee. It's coffee talk. And I'm gonna tell you about some yarn that I bought that I'll probably never knit with, but because I'm a yarn whore, I continuously knit with my shit, and I never used to, but I keep buying other people's shit because I can't seem to stop myself, which is fine. And a lot of times I end up giving it away because who doesn't like yarn? You just, you know, give a happy little, pay it forward, stitch it forward. If you've got something in your stash you don't like, give that shit away, make somebody else's day, yeah? You can pay it forward in other ways too. Like sometimes I like to pay for the person's gas or milk or whatever the fuck of the person like right behind me in line at the gas station. Or anyway, I have my little yarn enabler friend. Her name is Sally, and she likes to send me pictures of shit that she buys. She also sends me links to patterns. So she's like the pattern devil. And then of course we got to pick a yarn to go with it. And she's totally in the loop. She's on Instagram following everybody. I live under a fucking rock in the enchanted fucking forest. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So she's kind of my link to the outside world, and she sent me pictures of yarn that she had gotten from a company called Lambstrings, whom I of course have never fucking heard of. And even though I know I'll probably never knit with it because I mostly just knit with my own yarn anymore. And I never used to, you know, I used to dye all this yarn and sell it in my yarn shop, but I would still continue to knit with like Malabrigo and Pagewood Farms and, you know, Dream in Color back when Dream in Color was newer and it had like the original Classy, like right when it was getting really popular, I think. And the original Classy was like a rough, hard type of, and I fucking loved it. I loved and I don't care much for the new, but that's okay, doesn't matter. It's actually better. It's softer and whatever, but I like the original Classy. They don't fucking make it anymore. Meh. So anyway, I would just dye all this yarn and people would come in and buy it, and I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. And then one day, I don't remember how it happened. I knit something with it, and I think it was just some fucking shawl. I paired a skein of my pink yarn with a skein of alpaca from a local dude that was raising alpacas, and he brought in some yarn, and I thought, ooh, it's pretty, and it was brown, and brown and pink go good together in my opinion, so off we went with that, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of nice shit. Like, I like this shit. My own yarn, I mean, the pink stuff, but the alpaca was nice too. And ever since that day, I have just started knitting with my own shit more and more, and I'm convinced that it's quite lovely. But it doesn't stop me from liking other people's stuff. So I go on this Lambstrings yarn website, and what I was looking for was what my friend Sally had gotten, which was the Edgar Allan Poe collection. And just hold please, because I actually did buy that collection. Excuse me. And I might as well show it to you because we're talking about it. But so the Edgar Allan Poe collection was 5 skeins of yarn that my friend had gotten in a sock base. Now, my favorite base that I dye and that I seek out when I'm buying from other indie dyers is single ply. For several reasons, and I know some people hate it, and I know some people, I think mainly they're just afraid of it, like, oh, it's gonna pill. Well, Malabrigo Rios, for example, is not a single ply yarn, but if you knit a sweater with that, it will pill like a motherfucker. So just because it says single ply doesn't mean it's gonna pill. Also, it doesn't mean it's gonna split. You just have to look at what you're buying. So if it's a lighter, fluffier single ply, it's probably gonna split on you. And when I say split, that's not even a thing, really, like it can be. Like Hedgehog sock yarn, I love their single ply, but I hate their sock yarn because you don't even have to do anything and the yarn comes apart. Like the plies all just kind of fall apart. Their skinny singles, though, I love those, but they're a high twist. So they're twisted together like my yarn is. Do you see how that's tight? It's one ply, but it's been twisted, so it's gonna hang on to its shit, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. It just means you have to be more careful when you knit, I guess. If you're a lazy knitter, let's be fucking honest, we are. Sometimes we're just like, fuck it, I don't want to pay attention to what I'm doing. So we complain that the yarn is splitty when really we're sticking the needle in between the ply. We're sticking it in the middle of the ply, and so of course it's gonna split because you put your fucking needle in there and then off it splits. But that's not the yarn's fault, honeys. That's your fault, okay? And it happens to us all, happens to me, whatever. We just get fucking lazy and then we blame the yarn because, I don't know, that's like our thing. It's not our fault. I've never made anything that was incredibly pilly out of single ply. Like I'm making, this is single ply, holding it double, but it's not splitting on me. It's not pilling. This one's DK. What do I have an example? I just made a starting point, no, a fading point entirely out of the Venom collection, out of single ply yarn, so fuck, it's fine. Anywho, back to this bitch here. I mean, sorry, I'm sure she's lovely. She is lovely. I thought she was lovely. So my friend Sally got these yarns, and then so I had to go look for them, but they did not have them anymore on single ply. But she did have them on, it's called Utopia. Can you see that? DK, which is kind of cute. Utopia, like Utopia. You know, the perfect world. This one is called Ode to Virginia on DK. That's from the Poe collection. Then we have this one here called The Black Cat. Very different from my black cat. Mine's just fucking black. Hers has got this other little shit going on. Okay, then she has The Poet, which is not as vibrant in real life as it is on camera. I don't know why. It's duller. This one is, but it doesn't mean it's not pretty. It's got speckles of some shit in there. I don't know. And then Raven, which is this bluey color and purples. And then my personal favorite, Annabelle Lee. So that is the Edgar Allan Poe collection on Utopia DK, which is 100% superwash merino wool, 4-ply, DK weight yarn, 231 yards, blah, 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 from Lambstrings. So then I went and I was looking for this, but I happened to see these other ones in single ply. And I had to try them out, yeah? Because single ply whore, yarn whore, whatever. And these are not as, I don't know, I wish I could. They're lovely, right? But like the picture that you're seeing, the image that you're seeing is actually, my camera's making it look lighter than it is in real life. It's actually darker, but that's okay. The color's there. That happens a lot when you're trying to. This one is called Voodoo. This is her Sadie Singles Superwash Merino, 400 yards, blah, 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 blah. So it's very comparable to my Be Sweet Single sock yarn base that I am in love with. Fingering weight base, whatever. You don't want to knit socks with it. So I knew when I was reading her description that it would be something that I would like. It's a little bit, I don't know, it's nice. It feels nice. It's just, I think because she's got them so tightly skeined, it just, you know, it's hard to, I don't know. This one's very pretty too. This one is called Buried Alive. And when you look at it in real time, it actually is more, like the colors don't pop as much. My camera is making the colors pop out, but it's lovely. It's browns and neutrals. This one is called Ophelia. And I fucking loved it. This one is called, this one's a lot darker too in person. It's called Little Miss Macabre. And I thought, well, that's right up your alley, you bitch. So I bought that one. Trying to see if I can show you. No, my camera is just too awesome. It's making everything look so vibrant. I want to say that like a lot of times if you buy stuff on a single ply versus not, the colors are more vibrant. Single ply just does that. Please excuse my ear. This one, I love the name of it. I don't know that I'm in love with the colors so much. I mean, I don't know. This one is called The Leaky Cauldron. Isn't that cute? And then here it is next to Buried Alive. And they just look kind of the same to me. I don't know. And then this one is Go Ask Alice. And it is probably my least favorite of the ones that I ordered online. It didn't quite look like, I don't know. I don't dislike it though, I do like it. So, and she shipped, like she's not like me when you order, you gotta wait because there's just so many fucking orders I can't keep up. Maybe she has helpers, I don't know, or maybe she's just like a superhero. But it didn't take long to get them at all. Like, she shipped in like 3 days or some shit. It was really, really nice. And in the package, she sent me a business card and I guess the shipping label or the invoice or whatever the fuck. So that is my haul from Lambstrings yarn. I believe she's out of, okay, it's hand dyed. It says on Long Island, New York. Yeah, so in Long Island, New York. I really, really liked it. I'll probably never knit with it, but hey, you never know. I might start something with it and just never finish it because I'm really fucking good at that. All right. So I guess that is it for the shit show that is my afternoon in the enchanted fucking forest. So share this shit with your friends. Check out Lambstrings. I'll try to put a link, but I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. I'll try to put a link to this shit. I'll put a link to the colors and shit that I used here, maybe the fall and Halloween collection. If I remember, I'll link the 2 patterns, Radiate by Joji Locatelli and Vertices Unite by Stephen West. Those are the projects that I just finished, that I'm working on. I don't have a pattern for these awesome bulky mitts, but I think the warmest mittens pattern would be a good one, maybe. I can't remember. I don't look at that shit. Anyway, I hope you all have a happy day and you're all smiles, and I don't know if I got nothing. Keep your face to the sun just like the flowers do. Hugs and shit. Goodbye.